Microphone. All right, so welcome to the stacks. Those of you who came in after I did, which is pretty much everybody, you had you walked into a lit area, but normally the lights are kept low. And when it's not 97 million degrees outside, the tiles don't absorb all that heat and heat the building up. Summertime is hard enough on us, but summertime when it's over 90 for 5 days straight just makes the conservator get completely beside himself because they don't want to jack up the air conditioning because then the rest of the building becomes a total icicle, but the stacks are very happy. So we do try and keep the stacks cool and dark. Those are really the two biggest tools that we have to conserve the collections. Paper, we know, does really well when it's kept cool, temperatures below 72 degrees and humidity less than 50%. But human beings tend to want a little more moisture in the air, and they really like it around 75. So it's a constant battle to keep things even semi-comfortable. For the most part, you'll notice that the big things and these things over here to my right are pamphlets, so they are books that don't have hard spines or hard boards. They're kept flat. That keeps the pressure off the items, leads to not having things curl and whatnot. For the manuscript volumes, same thing. We try and keep those flat as well. You're going to end up with, let's see. Books are getting rearranged here. You're also going to end up with a lot of the books like very similar to the ones we saw in the conference room. This book has completely given way to book rust, and so we have put a mylar or a plastic sleeve around it. Mylar is a special kind of sleeve that's very durable, but it also breathes. In this case, the book is not entirely encapsulated. I can get my finger underneath there, but you can feel that the book itself has gone completely suede. I mean, it's like your shoes. It used to be nice and smooth, so you can say it's just disintegrate. However, the pages on the inside are virtually pristine. This book was started to be written in 1817. You can see, unfortunately, where someone used it to press a flower. That often happens. They stopped using the book as a record book, but it's a nice, thick, heavy volume, and so it served other purposes. But other than a few stains because of those flowers, you really have a pretty lovely record. And the actual details of the Leesburg, Ohio Henley Day book are not that important to us. I mean, this did not become, Lazarus department store. This was just a general dry goods store in a small town in Ohio. I don't know if anyone's ever been to Leesburg, but it's not exactly a booming metropolis. However, if you wanted to find out what it was like to live in Ohio and what was important to people in Ohio in 1817, this is what people were buying and selling. This is how they were, it depends on, you can check and see which ones are buying things with money and which ones are buying things with goods. How many times did they come in and purchase nails by selling 24 eggs to the dry goods store? There's a lot of bartering going on for a lot of the farmers. That's basically how they got things done. So if you wanted to know more about that sort of thing, that is how you would go about pulling it up. The pamphlet collections, which are really one of our claims to fame, are especially spectacular because we have so many objects. As you wander through the exhibits downstairs, keep an eye on the number of things that were made in Ohio or used by Ohioans. We also then collect the trade catalogs that advertised those objects. Or for the automobiles downstairs, we'll have the owner's manual that came with the vehicle. So the printed material that then helps document that artifact is part of the picture. And then again, if we can come up with one of those awesome pictures of somebody actually using the vehicle or the artifact or whatever, that's the other part of that story that is particularly helpful. All right. Do you keep an electronic or a paper scrapbook?
Paper.
Paper scrapbook? All right. So did Andrew Denny Rogers. Andrew Denny Rogers, I'm sorry, I can't lift it and show you the insides of it. Andrew Denny Rogers also kept a scrapbook. He lived in Columbus at the turn of the century, and he was interested in all sorts of things, not the least of which was documenting how important he was. And I don't know if anybody is totally familiar with the city of Columbus, but nowhere have I been able to find a statue commemorating Andrew Denny Rogers for being the important dude that he thought he was. So this was just a regular guy. Kind of cute in his baby profile here, absolutely adorable in his kindergarten class photograph, and so on and so forth. He has in this scrapbook, which is truly a conservator's nightmare. I mean, the main problem going on here is that you have horrible paper, you have God knows what kind of glue, and you have every known possible paper thing stuck to it. You have diplomas, you have entire books back here, entire scrapbooks with photographs and all sorts of things. Awesome, awesome information, but kind of a nightmare. If we took it all apart and we put everything in a lovely acid-free folder and put it into an acid-free box, you would lose the kind of wow moment you had when you saw it as a scrapbook. And that's kind of our problem. We haven't quite figured out with scrapbooks how to document that wow moment of the scrapbook as an artifact with the need to better care for all of the contents. I mean, we've got Sunday school bulletins and letters and just all sorts of stuff that's still in envelopes, newspaper clippings, you name it. Awesome stuff, but you can see here where the weight on this particular page has actually already started to crush the page. So, you know, documents everything he was interested in, but does it in such a way that makes it a little hard to care for it. So, anyway, that was our wow item. All right, we're going to head into the microfilm room.